Yo, what is up, guys? Luis Garcia of Garcia Effect here, and today we're going to talk about something extremely important, something that a lot of trainers have difficulty teaching their clients, and a lot of athletes and people that work out in general have trouble doing themselves. How many times have you walked into the gym and seen someone deadlifting and it's made you cringe, right? Everyone's back is always very, very arched. They don't really know what they're doing. And with something like deadlifts that is very, very load intensive on the spine, it's definitely something that we want to make sure we know what we're doing, all right? So today we're going to break down how to get into a deadlift properly. Now, we're not going to master our form in one day. Mastering your form is something that really, really takes time. But what we can definitely do in a little amount of time is put you in the biomechanical positions so that you do not get hurt, all right? And today I'm going to break that down for you. Before we get into anything, we need to first understand what kind of movement a deadlift is. Many times, to avoid injuries, you see a lot of people squatting their deadlifts, and that's an improper movement pattern because you're not actually training what the deadlift is supposed to train, which is your posterior chain. You should be feeling it in your glutes, you should be feeling it in your hamstrings, and you should be feeling it in your lower back, all right? So when a lot of people go to deadlift and they push their butt back and they're bending their knees too much, that's a squat type of movement, all right, which you see a lot. A deadlift is what you call a hip hinge, all right? So what that means is, if you can picture the hinge of a door, right, which is that corner of that door, all that the hip hinge does is really rotates you. So look, I'm barely bending my knees when I do this movement. It's all in my hips. Is rotate you down so that I can literally bend over and pick that weight up from the ground. It all starts in the hips. If you notice, as I bend down, my butt will literally go back. That's not the same thing as me squatting down and keeping my chest up. Those are two completely different movements that a lot of people mess up and get confused, okay? But today, like I said, we're gonna go into a few things that's really, really gonna help you separate those two. All right, guys, so I'm gonna teach you guys how to do this in a rack pull position. A rack pull is literally the same thing as a deadlift, the same thing, okay? Because some people get this confused. The only difference is you put the bar on a rack to limit the range of motion of the deadlift. I like to use this A for power when you're trying to put more weight, and for B for teaching form, because with more range of motion, there comes more room for error in your form. So when teaching form, I like to use this, and then I work my way down until the athlete is able to completely go to the ground with their deadlift. Okay, so to start, like I said, a deadlift is not a squat. So the first thing we're gonna talk about, just to get it out the way really quickly, is your knees. When I initiate my deadlift movement, I'm gonna roll up my shorts real quick, so you can look at my knees. When I initiate my deadlift movement, my knees, right, when this hip hinges, my knees should bend a little bit, and then throughout the rest of my motion, they should not bend anymore, all right? So once I'm here, and I've initiated my rack pull or deadlift movement, my knees are slightly bent, but the rest of the movement is coming from my hips. Then, once I come up, once I'm at the end range of motion, then I can end with locking out of my knees, all right? Again, it's not a squat. When I squat, I'm bending my knees the whole way down. It is a slight knee bend, and the rest of it is all hip hinge, okay? So that's what you need to get out of the way first, because until you get that, you're gonna be squatting and you're not gonna be deadlifting. So a cue that I love to use when deadlifting is called pinching the penny. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna help you retract your scapulas so that during your deadlift movement, you can have a nice straight back and the top of your back isn't all rounded in a dangerous position. So zoom in real quick to my back. So if I was gonna pinch the penny, I would pretend like I have an imaginary penny right here, guys, in the middle of my back, right between my shoulder blades, an imaginary penny. Okay, you can zoom out again, Now, I'm gonna pull my shoulders backwards towards my back to squeeze that penny and not let that penny fall. If at any moment my shoulders relax and stop pinching that imaginary penny, that penny's gonna fall to the ground, and now I know that I have improper deadlift form. So it's very, very important to always pinch that penny. And it doesn't matter whether I'm here at the beginning of my movement or whether I'm here at the bottom, that penny is still pinched the entire time. Now, a mistake that people usually do with this is instead of retracting backwards, they retract up towards their ears. This is gonna get your traps very, very tight, and it's gonna make it a shrug and not really that scapular retraction that we're looking for. So make sure that when you're doing this, you're not going up, you're going backwards, and even when you're here at the bottom position, you're still not going towards your ears. You're always gonna have those shoulders retracted backwards and always pinching that penny. Now, usually the hardest part of the deadlift for people is the actual hinging of the hips. Why? Because a lot of us lack body awareness and we don't really know how to get our body into those positions. So something I like to do is using something to help get our body into those positions until we know or we have enough body awareness to do it ourselves. So I use an external stimulus. So we're gonna use this resistance band that's tied down by a couple dumbbells. What we're gonna do is we're gonna step into the band and we're gonna make sure that band is right on our waistline, okay? So put it into your waistline and you're gonna step forward so that there's tension on the band. Now, what is this band doing? This band is physically pulling me into a hip hinge because it's actually pulling my hips backwards towards the dumbbell. So I'm gonna come into my rack pull. The bar is gonna be connected to my legs. Slight knee bend, right? We talked about that. Now, pinching the penny, my shoulders are retracted. I'm gonna go down and pick up that bar, pushing my butt backwards with the help of the band. So I'm here, I'm bending over, this band is pulling my butt backwards, my penny is pinched the entire time, keep going down. Once my hands have reached the bar, now I know I'm in a position where I can begin my rack pull. From here, all I wanna do while maintaining my penny pinched and the slight knee bend, everything stays like a statue, I'm literally humping. All right, guys, I am thrusting my hips forward and literally doing this humping motion. That is the only thing moving. So pinch the penny, knees bent slightly, butt goes back for the hip hinge, grab the bar. From here, I'm humping forward. And then I'm reversing that movement. So I'm letting this bar pull my hips back. My knees are slightly bent. My penny is pinched the whole time, going right back down into that beginning position, okay? And again, humping, thrusting those hips forward, squeezing my glutes, keeping that penny pinched, slight knee bend, all the way back down to the rack. If you practice this over and over again, trust me guys, this band will help you tons with that hip hinge movement. And all right guys, the last tip I'm gonna give you guys to helping perform your deadlifts is to keep the bar close. Especially when there's not much weight on the bar, you can basically just ride the bar up your whole body, all right? Ideally, this is not what you wanna do when you have weight on the bar because it'll actually hurt your legs rubbing that shit up and down. But when you're first learning, it is a good way to get that bar path where you want it to be. So I like to start with the bar connected to my knees right here. And then as I come up into this deadlift position, I'm riding that bar up my thighs. And as I go back down, I'm riding that bar down my thighs and right in front of your knees once again. Again, this is not, guys, to help you master your deadlifts. That takes a long time. And even people that have been lifting for years, many times I'll walk in the gym and they still have flaws with their deadlift form. So this is just to get you guys out of that danger position where you're gonna get hurt performing a deadlift. Because many times if you do this exercise wrong, you can get hurt, all right? And there you have it, guys. I promise you, if you follow these tips and tricks that I have given you today, not only will you not get hurt deadlifting, but you will have better deadlifting form than 98% of all the people that go to the gym, okay? Trust me, all right? Now, guys, if you found this video helpful, please comment something else you would want me to do. Nutrition, performance, all right, rehab, any kind of content you guys want to see, please comment below and let me know so I can make that video for you. Guys, like, subscribe, share this video with your friends or people you think this might help. And if you're looking for training, rehab, or nutrition programs, please head over to GarciaEffect.com. We have discounts on all our training programs, and I'd love to work with you guys. All right, until next time, #GarciaEffect.